The latest edition of Curb magazine was released on Monday. Curb is a magazine about all things Wisconsin, produced by students at the UW School of Journalism. The cover story reads like something you'd probably find in Time or Newsweek. This Land is My Land is a Wisconsin story of love and loss, about a farmer who is forced to give up his land to make way for the Badger Army ammunition plant. The story was written by UW senior Meredith Lee, who is with us in the studio tonight.
And she's joined by Katie Culver from the UW School of Journalism as well. And we welcome you both to Live at 5.
Thank you.
Well, let's just talk about first. I just want to talk about this story because it was so beautifully written.
Yeah,
and
it was incredible, Meredith.
Basically an interview with your grandparents, right? About the history of the Badger Army ammo plant up in the Baraboo area.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your inspiration for that, because it's a beautifully written story.
So my grandparents live in Baraboo, and driving to Madison, we would drive by this big expanse of prairie, and it was this Badger Army ordnance. And I was just so excited to see, what it had become. So,
did you know all about the story, or did you learn things when you interviewed your grandfather?
Right, so I looked at this story, and I called my mom, and I was really excited about this story. And she said, well, that's how your grandparents met. So I kind of dug into that a little bit more, and I was just really excited to talk to my grandpa more about his life and his experience with that.
It's kind of encompasses a lot of different facets of this story. I mean, you talk about Alzheimer's, and you talk about love and how this country was back in the 40s, and how they kind of came in and just took over this area.
Right.
So you covered a lot of different topics in this
Yeah,
article.
it's kind of interwoven, his story of his life and my grandmother's life, interwoven with the story of the Badger Army plant.
It's really a cutting-edge journalism. I mean, when you think of journalism students writing articles for a magazine, I think you'd be blown away when you read this. How in-depth it is and how creatively written it is and well-researched. You must be so proud of them, Katie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, I may cry again, but I cried when I read it the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth times. But I will tell you, it was a little bit of a leap of faith for some of the other students in the class, the editors, for me, when Meredith said, well, I think I want to write this story about my grandparents. And we went, and the story came in, and it was absolutely breathtaking. I mean, I had to really withhold to not share it widely before we actually published it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful piece.
And you do this Curb is once a year. Tell us a little bit about that real quick.
Once a year. So it's 20 students. They have 12 weeks to put together a print version, an online version, and an iPad version of their magazine. 12 weeks. It's breakneck, but they do the most remarkable work. The stories this year, their theme was Made by Wisconsin, so they have stories on, they have Meredith's beautiful story, they have story on turning cheese whey into power, they have a story about turning manure into power. There's just so many different facets to it. It covers religion, it covers so many aspects of Wisconsin life.
Well, all the times I've driven past the Army ammo plant, I'd learn more in your article, I think, than I've lived here 16 years.
Right.
Do you want to be an author or journalist? I mean, because you could be you're a tremendously talented writer.
Yeah, I really love to write and, discover stories about people. I really like to write about people. So I think this is something I would really love to do.
Well, when I think about what I was doing as a senior in college, studying journalism, I was ripping the wire, and I mean, honestly, this is the best experience you could ever have in your life for your future career. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats. Thanks
You
for
too,
joining
Katie.
us.
You too.
Congratulations.